What is up, you guys? Welcome back to Everything Annabelle. My name's Annabelle. If you are new, if you are not new, thank you so much for coming back. Love to see you guys. Today's video, I have been requested this video on my Instagram multiple different times. Some of my friends even mentioned it to me, and I feel like with school approaching, it's definitely a very helpful topic for certain people who are interested in this sort of a thing, going into their freshman, sophomore, whatever year of college. Today's video will be about sorority recruitment, tips and tricks for sorority recruitment, as well as my own personal sorority recruitment experience. You guys have been asking me for it, and so I want to give you what you guys want. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so to begin, this is, this is from my own personal experience going through sorority recruitment at Umass. It might be different at other schools, it might be similar, it might be like very, very similar, it might be completely different, but this is kind of what I've been through, and talking to some of my friends in other sororities, like at other schools, the process overall is, I think, basically like foundationally the same. What I have to say should be valid at any other school you go to, but your own experience, you are your own person, it's a different school, could be completely different. And if you are interested in going through sorority recruitment at Umass, then this is right up your alley. So at Umass, Panhellenic Council starts to advertise sorority recruitment, formal sorority recruitment, for the fall right around now. The enrollment link is active if you are interested in enrolling in sorority recruitment at Umass. And they'll ask you some questions, some starter questions, things like that, just to get your information into the system. So when it's gonna start in September, it's like you're signing up for like a job interview. Your information is in there, so when you show up, everything is laid out for you. There's a name tag, things like that. For me, and at Umass, recruitment, I believe, started on like a Tuesday, like a Monday or a Tuesday, and then I'm pretty sure bid day was like that. If it was Monday to Thursday or like Tuesday to Friday or Saturday, something along the lines of that. It didn't go more than a week. I don't believe there's 2 weekends. I think it's just, or it might start like on a Friday and then end on Thursday. It doesn't go longer than, that period of time. It's not like there's like 2 weekends, 3 weekends, a month, like no. Big tip I would say going into recruitment would be to schedule, prepare yourself, because you're going to be very busy. Before I get ahead of myself, at Umass there's a session, so there's like an information session where you go and you get to like meet the Greeks. All the sororities kind of have like little booths like in this big hall, and you go and you get to meet everyone and kind of socialize and see what they have to offer, but it's very quick. It's very, there's each sorority kind of speaks. It's very informational. You get to meet everybody. You get to see girls in the sorority, things like that. And then you get assigned into your Rho Gamma groups. The purpose of a Rho Gamma will disaffiliate from her organization for the time of recruitment, so to be a leader, to be a mentor, to kind of help guide you through the process of sorority recruitment. So you won't know what sorority they're in. They go through their own Instagrams and make sure that it's a completely neutral process, so that there's no like favoriting, and it's not like you now know what they're in, so you want to be what they're in. No, you don't know what they are. They don't talk about it. So after that first informal meeting, you get separated into your Rho Gamma groups. Now, a lot of the times, girls in your Rho Gamma groups, I know for me, I think it was about 15 girls, like maybe a little less. That is the group that you stay traveling with for the first day or so. So you will become very good friends with girls in your Rho Gamma group, because you're both going through the same situation. You guys might not end up in the same sorority, but that is perfectly okay, and you will still maintain friendships with those girls throughout your entire time being in a sorority. You guys have this bond that is shared now until you go on, and then you have friends in other sororities as well. So the Rho Gamma group is very helpful, I think. Does a very good job at acclimatizing you to the situation and, making friends early on. So that's awesome. So then the way it kind of works, the first 2 days at Umass, they get split up. You see half of the houses. Like when I say houses, I don't necessarily mean physical houses. I just mean like the sorority. In that time being, that is the first impression that you have of those girls. That is the first impression that they have of you. You want to put your best foot forward. It's like if you had a job interview, if you were going to see your grandma, if you were at a family event, you are respectful. You keep it appropriate. You don't say anything, inappropriate. Anything that you wouldn't say to your mom, anything you wouldn't say to your grandma, anything you wouldn't say during a job interview. And you want to put your best foot forward, and they're trying to do the same thing to you. And after those first 2 days, which are very busy. That's kind of going back to what I said the first time, is that make sure you have your schedule for the week planned out and you have, all of your homework done ahead of time. You have your classes planned out ahead of time. You have your workload planned out ahead of time, because it is very time consuming and you're gonna get tired. I know in September in New England, it's still very, very warm outside. You're gonna get tired, you're gonna get hot, you're gonna get sweaty. Make sure you bring a lot of water with you, because it is a very time consuming process and you are there for school as well. So keep that in mind. So after you're done seeing the first houses, okay, there's a mutual selection process. So what that kind of means, it's kind of self-explanatory, just in the sense that you pick the houses that you felt you had a bond with, that you had a connection with, and that's your own personal selection. And then there is an online system that will kind of match the selections, because they do the same thing about you. It's a mutual selection process. Everyone feels comfortable in different places. Everyone bonds differently with different girls, and that comes up the next day. The next time you're going to go to a house, you get your own personalized schedule, and that is based off of the mutual selection process. As far as the selection process goes, it is very fair. It's not like one girl, you don't get along with one girl. It's not like you're completely like out of luck. Absolutely not. There's a whole house of votes, opinions that go into that selection process. And then that process continues on until the very last day, which typically comes down to 2 houses, and you choose whichever one is a better fit for you. They do the same thing. Again, a mutual selection process. And ideally, you end up where you're most comfortable, or where you were almost as comfortable. You end up at a house that you feel you bond with the girls the most, and it's, again, a mutual selection process. As far as the wardrobe goes, another thing I do want to say, I do think there is a fee for going into recruitment, because you're on a bus a lot of the time, so that, costs money. That's not free. Just because you're paying a fee for recruitment does not mean that if you are very inappropriate to a house, if you say something inappropriate, if you say something mean, if you say something strange like that is just very odd or inappropriate, that you won't get completely dropped, because you will. You're not paying to be in a sorority, you're paying to be given the opportunity to go through recruitment. Different sororities have different, fees and things that go into that, but you're surrounded by a group of girls now who are very similar to you, and the chances that you would have met these girls had you not gone through it are very slim. I know I met some of my absolute best friends in my sorority after completing sorority recruitment at Umass, and I wouldn't change that for the world. We have very similar interests, we have very similar styles. We absolutely love where I'm at. You're not paying for that experience, you're paying a fee to have the opportunity to end up in a very comfortable, happy position where you feel surrounded by girls who are very similar to you with your own unique and creative differences. As far as outfits go, traditionally, again, at UMass, the outfits start off to be very casual. So they're like cute, classy, casual, chic. Those are all words I would use to describe the first half. And then as you start to slim down your choices, as it gets down to the last day, as it gets down to bid day, then the outfits become a lot more dressy. So you have more cocktail dresses, you have little black dresses or like white, and that's kind of how the theme, it gets fancier as the days go on. So heels, flip-flops are not acceptable by the last day, but they kind of go into that, as you are there and as you learn the rules and kind of regulations and traditions of how sorority recruitment goes. Some of the questions I have received is am I doing the right thing? I feel like I have to be doing this. I'm going to go to a really big school. My responses to that being that I had experienced UMass not being in a sorority. I totally enjoyed it. I had a great time. I did feel that there was something just missing for me. I didn't feel like I was 100% at home and have the connections that I had dreamt about. My dad was in a fraternity when he was in college, and he maintained friendships with those guys for years. He absolutely would have died for his fraternity. He loved them. He loved the guys in it. Going into college, I had always been searching for that sort of connection, and I didn't feel that connection with anyone until I went through sorority recruitment and ended up where I am now. Just keep that in mind. I'm sure there are several other ways, if you're going to a large university, several other ways to meet people, build connections, things of that nature. But for me, I was able to do that, but it was that genuine connection with people who I felt shared very similar interests with me, who were just like me, that I didn't receive until I went through sorority recruitment and ended up in my house. So something to keep in mind. As far as sorority recruitment goes, I think generally every house has different values, different philanthropies. A philanthropy is the charitable organization that your sorority is kind of not like responsible for, but will do events for, will raise money for. That's kind of your own unique, the sorority's unique like charitable cause. You go through all of that, going through recruitment, finding out about the different sororities. At the end of the day, the goal of recruitment would be that you are placed with people that are similar to you, that you are comfortable with, that you'll feel at home with. So it's not like you're gonna go through, like, don't imagine going through recruitment and then you end up and you're like, I hate these girls, like this, oh my God, like that's not what it is intended to be. And so I guess my biggest advice would be not to go into it with that mindset, because everything happens for a reason, and you will click with certain girls over other girls. That will only work to your benefit, no matter how big the school is, no matter how small the school is. Each house is very unique and is very different, and there will be one or two that you really click with, and the goal is that you end up there. Again, my own personal experience, I 10 out of 10 recommend. Having experienced college with a sorority and without a sorority, I wish I joined a sorority sooner. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And as far as going through recruitment yourself, like I said before, you're in your Rho Gamma group. People get selected or not selected for different sororities. The groups start to change a little bit. And I think it's really easy for girls in those groups to kind of give their own opinions and give what they think, like, oh, well, I heard that they do this, or like, I heard that they don't do this, or I don't think you'd be a good fit there. That's all bull. You can't go by that. You can't listen to people. People will act on things that aren't coming from a genuine place, that aren't accurate, things like that. It's one of those situations where you really have to trust your gut. Like, I don't recommend going to a girl in your group and being like, oh, like, do you think I belong here? Do you think I belong there? Because it's not about what anyone thinks. It's about how you feel, what you think, things of that nature, and what you experienced going through every sorority. It's how you feel. It's where you were most comfortable and where you felt at home. Yeah, I hope that this video helped you. If you were kind of on the fence about going through recruitment or not going through recruitment, I hope I gave you some insight about that. And closer to, I might do a video about more an in-depth, more outfits-based sort of video. Let me know if you guys would want to see something like that. I love talking about sorority stuff, so let me know if there are any other sorority or Greek videos you want to see from me. Going into the fall, I'm sure there will be a lot more, because this is summer right now, so obviously I'm not at school, but that I have been planning some stuff going into the fall. Thank you guys for watching Everything Annabelle. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and please like the video if you liked it, and comment anything that you guys have to say. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you later.